Hi there, Libra. Welcome to Dragon Tail Tarot. My name is Ariel. This is Mr. Fire Dragon here, and welcome to the channel. This is your reading for Saturn's return direct on September 18th, 2019. So what this is going to get into is, the motion of Saturn, what Saturn means in general and to you, and also how this is playing out for your past, present, future. We're going to start with a little astrology lesson about that, and then I'm going to go into doing some cards, some oracle and tarot for you on that to deepen the intuitive messages. So anyway, before we get started, I should say, gotta get that dragon. Dragon keeps me on track here because we're both dragons. I was born Chinese dragon year, so we're dragony here. This is a general reading. This will not resonate with every single Libra out there. If the messages do resonate with you, they are meant for you. If they don't resonate with you, kick them on out the door to another Libra who they do belong to. This is going to primarily correspond with Libra's Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising signs, and all Libra cross watchers are totally welcome to join. And while you're thinking about it, if you haven't already, reach out, subscribe, join the Dragon family, give it the Dragon Claw up by clicking that like button, and let me know that you enjoyed the content. So without further ado, let us start. Here is the planet Saturn. This is its symbol right here, and that's what you're going to see if you look at an astrology chart. The symbol really incorporates the cross of matter over the curve of spirit, which is why Capricorn, which Saturn rules, are often pragmatic, logical. Even though they have that heart and they have that emotion inside, they don't really let it get the best of them. They usually lean on their rational, practical, more methodical mind before they'll lean on faith and hope alone. So right now Saturn is in the sign of Capricorn, so it doubles up that energy if you ask me, because that's Saturn being in its natural sign. It makes it a lot stronger. So while it's traveling through there, we are going to feel a lot of foundational energy, a lot of big lessons being learned, a lot of, consequences and karmic repercussions to people's actions all coming up. That will not be in Capricorn again for about 30 years, give or take. So that's how long, it takes. It takes about 2.5 years or so about for Saturn to go through one sign. We can't talk about Saturn these days without talking about Pluto as well, because Pluto has also been in Capricorn since 2007, and it is still plugging away because Pluto is our slowest guy in orbit. So it's going to be there for another, I think, 4 years. I think 2024 is when it actually leaves Capricorn. So we've been in it for the long haul with Capricorn, Pluto. And Pluto is also turning direct on October 3rd. Saturn is going direct on September 18th at 4:47 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. These planets every year do about a 5-month retrograde and then about a 7-month direct period. And so we definitely feel that. And for Libra, you guys are definitely focused on here. Libra, Aries, Cancer, and Capricorn are feeling these transits the most, though everybody does feel them. So that's why I'm doing a reading for every sign, because we have all signs in our personal and universal charts. We feel them at different times, different ways. But even though we have some signs that are more focused on, we do have all signs represented in each of our charts, which is a very interesting thing to me. So that's the place that's hitting for you, Libra, is going to be your 4th house. I've talked about this a little bit in my other videos for you, but we'll get a little bit deeper on this one since we're focusing primarily on Saturn and Pluto. 4th house is Cancer. Cancer deals with home, family, childhood origins, the roots of the soul's origins. It's on that line in the chart that I call the soul line, and other people call it that too as well. So having Saturn and Pluto move through those, you've already been dealing with Pluto a long time. And that is what I've noticed many of my Libra friends have had a very difficult time maintaining a solid, stable home situation, because Pluto has that effect. It's like Phoenix from the ashes, and it tears things down and rebuilds them. It's like those very heavy life and death and rebirth cycles. So it's like a lot of times over the last 12 years or so, as you felt like, well, I think I'm building something up, but then it it crumbles and I have to build it up again. There's a lot of that. It also brings a heavy sense of emotional crisis sometimes, where you really feel it's almost like a press, and like no matter how much you try to push those feelings down, Libra, it's like Pluto just keeps bringing them up to the surface. It's like you have to keep dealing with your deep hidden inner emotions. Even if you really don't want to, you have to deal with your psychological stuff, your mental, emotional wounds or trauma, or things that you've gone through in the past. And it comes up in a very, very sensitive way because of that house that it plays out for you. Whether or not you have that in your natal, you're still feeling it on the universal. So it's very, very challenging. And it does bring a lot of power and healing and growth, but not without the process. And so Saturn being in the 4th house, universally for you. Saturn 4th house transit is always a very important one because it really lays a foundation for the next 14 years as it goes to the opposite house of the 10th. So anything that you do, you know, over this next year and a half period, it really has a result 14 years later as we go way out. You know, it's like you will feel the effects. Saturn is all about time and requires a lot of patience and learning and maturity and methodical practice. It's like if I do this every day, even just for 15 minutes a day, and it's something that's good for me or good for others, it's like that builds up, and it carries its own sort of karmic weight. Saturn is very much about give or take. If you do something bad and to put it out there in the universe, Saturn has a way of bringing that karma right back to your door. And so if you do something good, same deal. Saturn will bring back good things to you. So it's a very karmic planet. It's all about learning lessons, cause and effect, actions and consequences, which are very, very strong. This is why, you know, most Capricorns, they can't really get away with a whole lot of dirty business forever, because Saturn has a real karmic way of bringing it right back to them. So that is what you're dealing with, Libra, on a deeper level. So the biggest things I would say is definitely be patient with yourself, give yourself time, and give yourself a lot of love here, because there is a tendency to beat ourselves up under Saturn transits, especially when they're in a sensitive, water-based house like they are for you. You could really make yourself feel like, oh, I'm just not good enough, I'm just not da-da-da-da-da. But I don't want you to do that, because this is, to me, a normal process. It's part of your life's purpose and pattern and mission. We all have our challenges. We all have our things that we go through. For you, this is one of the things. And so you are redefining, reevaluating, and setting your kind of present and future intention about what you believe home, family, and that sense of togetherness looks like for you and feels like for you. What is home for you? That's a good question. And you don't have to answer it right away, but it's like, let's, you know, explore that a little bit. What does home mean for Libra? What does that kind of balance and stability mean for me? Very important questions as we go through this Saturn direct and forward motion. I think that this kind of spring and summer has been very challenging for a lot of people. This particular Saturn retrograde has been harder than most. And so that's why I felt very led to do a video addressing Saturn's direct motion. So before we get started with the cards, I brought out some of my tuning forks. I do sound therapy, and every planet has its own frequency and pitch. And so I brought out the fork for Venus, which is your ruling planet, and then the fork for Saturn, which is the planet that we're playing with right now, to kind of just put out some good charge and alignment. And let's go ahead and hear what those sound like. So here's Venus, and here's Saturn. They actually sound really beautiful played together. Some of these are more discordant, but Venus and Saturn together is beautiful. Wow. Around. Woo! Yeah, really nice. Really nice. Okay, so Libra, Another thing, you know, that I would bring up about why this has been particularly challenging for you is, of course, because Saturn has been in the sign of Capricorn, and Capricorn is a sign that squares your sign, and a square is a challenging aspect, but it can bring up quite a bit of firepower. So it definitely gets your motor going. It keeps you from being complacent. It gets you much more active and much more progressive about your own destiny, which is actually a really good thing. So don't knock it till you try it, right? All right, so let's go ahead and start. I'm going to be doing a past, present, future column for you, which is going to be the past 5 months and what that's taught you, the present moment as it's moving forward, and also a future column for the potential 7 months outcome. Dear angels, guardians of light, helpers and healers and ancestors, please be with the sun, Venus, moon, and rising sign of Libra as we read for them for September 18th, Saturn direct, and the past and future vibrations it will bring them. Please protect their energy as well as mine and give them clear, accurate messages for their highest good. Thank you so much. Ooh, I like all of these. My goodness. So we start with Lavaria, which is let love grow. So Libra, this is all about embracing self-love and care. And then we go into the present moment, which is effervescence, which is all about cultivating love, seeing your own value. And then we go into the Witch card, which is very magical. The magic you seek is inside of you. Let it flow. So this is a very, very beautiful way to start. And as you go into the future of that Saturn direct motion, you really are embracing your own magic, your own power, your own ability to create the kind of future that you would like to see. So let's pull up some astrology cards to deepen these messages. Ooh, so there is definitely on top of the let love grow, there's that Jupiter card, which is a very beneficial Jupiter return, a very happy energy. So to me, this is bringing forward lessons that you've learned about expansion, self-love, and growing past your comfort zone a lot of the time, because to me that Jupiter return always brings out. A Jupiter return happens when Jupiter makes one full rotation every 12 years through your chart. So that's definitely bringing about greater you know, just broadening the horizons. And sometimes that can be a little painful, because it's like you really realize over this last 5 months, it's like, if I want to get what I want, if I want to have the love and fulfillment that I desire, I'm going to have to go past my own comfort zone. So into this present moment, over top of cultivating love, is that Gemini card, which is all about the motto, I think. So this is really on your mind. It's something you're communicating about, talking about, thinking about, putting it out into the universe as a message in prayer or meditation, and then going into the future. I love this on top of the Witch card about embracing your magic. Here we come with Uranus, which is the planet that rules Aquarius. So this is the genius streak. This is telling you that you have a spiritual intellect that you may not even realize, that you are actually more magic and more powerful and more your unique self than you think. You're definitely a unique soul in the world, and that you should embrace that even more. So let's pull some tarot and just keep deepening these past, present, future columns. Oh yes, Libra. All about balance and fairness here in the past over top of Jupiter and the Let Love Grow card. So, you know, it's like this is all about bringing things into alignment. You have really learned some lessons about equality, fairness, you know, harmonious and positive judgment calls that you've had to make to either remove, you know, people that are hurting you from your past, or there's just not any reciprocity there. So let's clarify that Justice card with another tarot deck and see what comes up on top of that one. Yeah, you've definitely tied up some cycles here, Libra. This 10 of Wands, that suppression, it's like you've really gone through a challenging time in this past 5 months, but you know what? You're coming through it. That's the end of this painful cycle. So that's a very positive thing going forward. And here, right in the present moment, in the present cards, you know, the Eight of Cups, which is if you're not fulfilled in something, Libra, you're leaving, you're moving on, you're going in search of that ninth cup of wish fulfillment. You don't want to be settling for less anymore. So very, very strong. Let's clarify that Eight of Cups, please. Yes, beyond illusion. And this is getting in a little bit deeper, you know, more, it's a little bit more of that justice energy. This is moving past illusion. This is the same as the judgment card in the regular deck. So this is absolutely, like I said, making positive judgment calls for your own life, and definitely not being willing to accept fake people, fake friends, shallow situations that don't really have your best interest at heart or aren't going to allow you for deeper grounding and stability in the future. And then in the present column, you got the Temperance card on top of Uranus. So this is that Sagittarian energy, like I said. There gets like Jupiter in the beginning, Jupiter here, because this is expansion. This is, you know, freer self-expression, but it's also balance. There's also so much balance to that. Temperance is really, you know, I always think of tempering steel, you know, tempering a sword. You know, makes the steel flexible, but also, you know, very strong. So that's really the process you've been through, is a little that trial by fire. It's like that process that's been very difficult, but it's also very refining, and it creates a more resilient you know, that you can take the troubles of life in greater stride, and it doesn't get to you like it did before. So let's clarify Temperance, please, Spirit. Yeah, and this, sometimes not having to be such a fun voice, but there's that Queen of Swords coming through. You know, she's very clear, she's very incisive, she uses her feminine intuition, but funnels it, you know, channels it out through that very clear-minded, very rational, calm, logical voice. So, you know, you're making choices from a much more balanced and intellectual approach with Uranus energy. Definitely that Queen of Swords energy brings up Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, your own sign. So definitely very strong here. And now I'm going to pull 3 major arcana for a last bit of advice on these. Yes, yes, yes. So judgment is coming back out again on that future position. You really are. It's like this is all about, you know, making clear choices. And it's also, you know, a little bit of that element, like I said, the phoenix from the ashes, new life coming out. You know, from the dead rising up. It's like things that you thought could never be actually coming into existence here, Libra, because right now you're at that wheel of fortune. And so the fortune is turning, the wheels are turning. You're going in a different, better direction. And also, you know, leaving behind the Hierophant, which, you know, you've already made some really big strides. You've made some pretty strong spiritual commitments to yourself as a result of all these lessons and all these challenges that you faced over the past 5 months. So going forward is looking really, really beautiful. So please don't give up. Hang in there. I know these energies are challenging, but you are coming through them quite beautifully. So I will be seeing you all real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.